I don't want to destroy the news. I don't want anybody to get fired. I want people to change and realize that they are supposed to be objective.
I challenge you to stop thinking in terms of objective journalism, and we'll discuss why that's not really feasible anymore.
I don't really care if people trust us or not. You still got to do your job. So, I mean, that's the least of my concerns, whether they trust me or not.
Objectivity and trust are two of the cornerstones of journalism. But inside one of the nation's largest media companies, writers, producers, editors, reporters, and anchors are literally being trained to not be objective. And in the words of that news anchor from Houston, they do not care if they lose your trust.
Wouldn't they want to be trusted?
To me, that seems like that's part of the job, that you need trust to be able to do your job. Your job is to inform. And if you can't trust who you're getting that news from, you're not doing your job.
And that's just what one whistleblower is telling us from inside a CBS television affiliate in San Antonio, Texas.
I'm coming from seeing this every day. I mean, I would tell people, my friends, family, about, hey, you can't trust the news. This is, you're being manipulated. Well, how do you know? I work in the news.
Brett Mauser is a promotions producer at KENS5, which is owned by Tegna. Tegna is a media company that owns 64 television stations and 2 radio stations in 51 markets and boasts a reach of 39% of all TV households nationwide. Ironically, on its website, Tegna says it produces trusted, impactful, and innovative content that helps bring positive change to their communities. However, change is happening inside Tegna, and it's not all positive.
Let's talk about Grady Tripp, also at KNS5, Diversity Inclusivity Training Officer at Tegna. Tegna owns the station.
But it's kind of sorry, not sorry for the statement that I'm making there. At this point, if you're not listening to a podcast or looking at a video or reading any of the information that's out as far as equality and social justice and race, you don't care. And I don't know how else to say it because it's there. We're going to be holding stations accountable because we know it's important to the organization. KPIs are going to change, right? KPIs are going to reflect diversity and inclusion from a representation standpoint at various levels, from an inclusion standpoint.
What does this have to do with telling the news?
It doesn't. It's about the narrative. It's about pushing an agenda.
And that was the vice president of the parent company, Tegna, talking to you there, a diversity and inclusion officer.
And it feels almost threatening, doesn't it?
So what is that agenda? Well, it apparently involves telling journalists that being factual and objective is racist.
Influence is synonymous with power, how much influence you can have. So power is the ability to influence outcomes and affect others. So we know that. And then first, let's define power a little bit more closely. Because we want you to think, how can you use your power to create the newsroom you deserve?
So this is Poynter Institute, has brought in Donna Lowry, training the newsroom about oppressor versus oppressed, power dynamics in the news.
Yes, and this is what really caught my attention. This was a 3-day training. The first half hour of the first day, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't, maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion, maybe this isn't that big. But halfway through, after they started telling us, okay, we need you to take age, race, sexual orientation, and put them in order of importance to you, how you see the power dynamic. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I thought, it's dividing oppressor into oppressed.
Much of what we're going to talk about today is going to center around the main code of ethics of journalism. And a couple of things. During this workshop and throughout your day, I challenge you to stop thinking in terms of objective journalism, and we'll discuss why that's not really feasible anymore, but in terms of accuracy, fairness, and transparency. Always striving for objectivity is not feasible.
That was the one that blew my mind. That you're now teaching journalists at a national level, don't be objective. And to me, that was what journalism always was, to be objective. And in my mind, if journalism is not objective, It's not journalism, it's propaganda.
What exactly are they teaching you to do if not to do objective journalism?
There is a truth, a narrative that everyone basically comes out of college nowadays with. And the other side is to be dismissed, is to be ignored and looked at as a hoax. And it is this agenda that is being forced down every station's throat now. This mindset has been able to grow and infect what was supposed to be the fourth pillar of society. The journalists are supposed to be our watchdogs. They're the ones that are supposed to be protecting us from the tyranny and supposed to be going out there and finding out and giving us the truth. People can say, well, you're overreacting, this is too far. Well, as a history buff, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell you because it's happened before. It happened in Germany, it happened in Russia, and we're seeing it happen now, dividing people in. Why do you think they were putting people in a checkbox? In order the importance of race to you. Is race more important than age? Why do we need to put people in boxes like that? And the reason is they want to divide us.
Are you afraid doing this? What do you hope comes out of this?
I'll be honest. I hope that Ken's 5 will change. I hope that at the very least that Jack and the news team will say, you know what? We do have a problem. We do have an issue here and it needs to be addressed. I don't want to destroy the news. I don't want anybody to get fired. I want people to change and realize that they are supposed to be objective, that they are being told by another company, by their parent company, to not be objective, to be divisive, and I want them to just admit they have a problem.
Sounds to me like you want them to be reformed,
Yeah.
which is precisely what our mission is at Veritas.